Hi there. Welcome to Sunnyside Journals. I'm Catherine. I have a little what's on my desk. I have a little bit of work this morning that I wanted to do on camera because there's always new people who are interested in watching how you cut open an old book. And so I have two old books I will be cutting open this morning and getting them ready, taking a look, see how their spines are and what kind of refurbishment they're going to need. So I have that to do. I also want to just do a tiny little bit of work on one single divider in my cookbook account journal. Some people have asked whether I'm going to do anything with the cover, and I have sanded and aged it because it really looked very, very brand new. It's not an older edition. I can't remember now what year it was, and I chucked most of the interior pages. Well, I didn't chuck them. I got them just to use for inking. They're all here. But I don't want to have to go through this stacked to maybe possibly try and find the copyright. I know for a fact it's not old. It's not vintage. It had a barcode back here. I don't like looking at barcodes, so I glued one of my business cards on it. So I made, oh, these are extras. Hold on. I made another acetate tuck spot last night, and I tried to tape it, but it just wasn't meant to be. It didn't work out, so I apologize to everyone who wanted to see how I made, but I will walk you through it because I already have one in here. Where's the first one that I did? I think it's back here. There's the first one that I did, and I made a two-sided one last night, and there's just something about it I want to change. So let's take it out and we'll play with it, and then I'll tell you what it is that's driving me nuts about it and why I want to change it. So this acetate, in case you're wondering, if you don't have any secondhand sources for acetate, in a way this was repurposing, because I found this sheet of acetate. It was actually huge. It was the size of my desk. My desk is quite a big size. I thought initially I wanted to attach it to my desk so that my desktop could be wipeable. And then I found I did not like working on this surface. I pulled it off. I actually slid it behind one of my bookcases here in my studio and forgot it was there. And I found it, golly, I think last week I found it. And so I figure in a way that's repurposing, and that even though I purchased it new, it's repurposed because it actually didn't end up going on my desk. Long story short, I got this at Staples, and I found it in the area where you can buy Bristol board and presentation boards and things like that. And it wasn't expensive. Like I said, it was a huge sheet, and it didn't cost much at all. So if, in case you don't have any secondhand sources of it, and I believe you can also buy packages of acetate sheets that are in a more reasonable size, like 8.5 by 11. But I'm using this up so that it doesn't go to waste. So what I did was, this is one of these, hold on. This is just one of these. I didn't glue them together. I just used one. And I glued tea-dyed paper to both sides, and then I just cut around the edge. And I'm happy with how that turned out. And then what I did was I cut pocket size acetate on both sides. And then what I did was I simply clipped the acetate into place to hold it on both sides so that I knew that when I sewed it, it was going to go through both sides. So I didn't even have to glue it down. It's just being held down with thread. And it worked out fine because I'm not looking for a meticulous appearance. I don't mind that it looks grungy. That's what I wanted. So, so that's how I did it. It was very simple. And then I inked around the edge of the acetate. Do you see that? just so that I can see where the edge is, because it's so transparent. Sometimes it's difficult to actually see at a glance where the edge of the acetate is, and I think that kind of looks cool that it's just got some ink. But one thing that I did do to it that I don't enjoy the appearance of when I look at my book, my little book here, and you know, this is how you learn from mistakes. When I had it in my book and I was looking down and it was in, I quickly realized I did this book using Vintage Photo distress ink. And when I created this one sheet last night, I distressed it with gathered twigs. And this tab immediately stuck out like a sore thumb amongst all these tabs, and that bothered me. It just bothered me. It wasn't the same shade as Vintage Photo. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give it a fresh edge, and I'm going to create a fun tab and put a fun tab on it. So that's the plan, and then I'm going to cut those 2 text blocks out of those books, and then I'm going to decide, oh, I don't need those on there anymore. I held these on until I would sew a little bit, pull the next one off, sew a bit more, pull the next one off, and finally by the time I got down a ways, I didn't need any clips on it because my stitching was holding that acetate in place. It was very simple, and then you have 2 pages with acetate on both sides, so you've got a very good little tuck spot. So I'm going to take this off and give myself a new tab, but I want a tab in the original place where it was. So I'm just going to make note of where I had it, just approximately with pencil, just back here, because that's approximately where I wanted it. And that way, when I apply the new tab, it will be good. Now, this time I will be using gathered twigs. Oh, Vintage Photo. Oh my goodness. Oh, hokey smokies. All right, Vintage Photo, where are you? There we go. Vintage Photo. It's not even that early. All right, I'm just going to get that little edge a little. Now, I cut it on that cutting board, and thick cardstock on that cutting board gives me a tiny little lip on the other side, so I always just press that down real quick. There we go. All right, so I think I want to do red polka dots. That's quite thick, so I don't think I have to apply it onto some, I was wondering whether I was going to have to put it onto some cardstock, glue it on, but I don't think I need to. So let's get you out of the way for now. And just trying to decide how, you know what, I might as well make a few. Red polka dots are my favorite. Now, are you even? You're not. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just trying to see whether it's the pattern that's off or whether it's me, or whether it's one of these cuts that's off, because I can see that those polka dots are not marrying up, and I want the polka dots to marry up. So that'll do. Obviously, somewhere along the line when I used this paper, I cut it a little crooked, and that's okay. Now, I just want a bit so that I can fold it in half and make tabs. There we go. Oh my goodness, it's one of those things, they're making my eyes jump. These are making my eyes do that. Alrighty, so I actually want to do this way. I just want to give myself a really good fold, because it has to go into the tab punch folded. This is one of those things, if anyone's new to junk journaling and watching this morning, welcome. A tab punch, you can get them on Amazon, you can get them at craft hobby stores. This is one of those things that's well worth purchasing. You will use it over and over and over. There we go. So you need it more or less about that size. And then what you do is it goes in and you just make sure, I like to try get as many as I can out of one strip. And then you make sure that you don't have the paper above that top, because you can punch out singletons. But it's nice when they fold. It's a nice little detail. So you have to watch and make sure that you don't have that top fold. It just needs to be close to that top blade part. So I'm going to put it down. See, do you see that space up there? That's where you want a teeniest, tiniest bit of space so that you don't cut through your fold. Now I'm going to put it down here so that I can see what I'm doing and hold it at an angle that's comfortable so that I can punch it. So I apologize, but that's the way it is. There we go. And there you have a little tab to put on this. Now I'm going to finish. I actually keep a tray of tabs handy, and I actually looked through it to see if I had any red polka dots, because they're one of my favorites. And I didn't have any red polka dots in here. Whenever I have little leftover pieces of useless scrap paper, I will often just get out my little tab and make as many tabs as I can out of the leftovers so that it doesn't get wasted in the into the recycling bin. There we go. And I just have a thing for red and white, and I have a thing for black and white. There we go. So I'll throw that in, and next time I need red and white polka dot tab, I've got some. Last night I dreamt I had to go to the dentist. It's bad enough going to the dentist, but you shouldn't have to go to the dentist in your dreams, you know? Not fair. What our brains put us through when we're asleep. Now sometimes it's hard to fit this last one in, and I find that if I hold it with my tweezers, I can maneuver it a little better, because once it's inside that punch, it's hard to hang on to. But by using tweezers to hold that little tippy end, I can fit this last piece of scrapbook paper in there. There we go. And get one last tab. Now, that's tricky to get out. Tweezers are really, really helpful little tool in the studio. There we go. So I've got, I got 3 extra red polka dot tabs out of that little piece of paper. You know what? That's pretty good when that's your leftover scraps that go into the blue box. And that could go away. And I want this inked with Vintage Photo. I wonder if I want to use my sponge. No. hopefully going to get rain today. Tomorrow's supposed to be hot and sunny again. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hopefully lots and lots of rain. We really need it. Everything is yellow as hay around here. All right, I like that. I may still use my little sponge and get those sides really dark. Those little edges. The brush really gives a softer aging, but sometimes if you want the intense color, a sponge will give you a much more intense color right at that edge. So depending on the look you're going for, and you may use both as I just did. Alrighty, so this is going to go approximately right here. And I'm going to use art glitter glue. Make sure you're happy with where it is because art glitter glue adheres pretty quickly. I think this is going to look cute, especially because of the red check on the cover. And then maybe I'll find a word snippet. See, I can't even move that now, and I wanted to move that. That's all right. Now, I'm going to erase my little cheat lines. And we're good. So that's one little task off my desk. And now I can pull out my knife and cut apart those two books. I'm really excited, and I'm wondering which one it is that I'm going to want to attack first, because I really don't know yet which one I want to attack. Now, where am I going to put you, polka dots? I think you will look cute. I think I had you back here. I think I had you right here, right in front of Secrets. That looks cute. Oh, let's take those out for now. I'm not sure where I'm going to put these. These are leftovers, but I don't want to get rid of them because I may want to make more dividers. Yeah, that looks cute. I like that. You can't see it at first, but then when you start getting through into the book, there it is. It's sort of like a little Minnie Mouse bow in there. I like that. I want to add this somewhere in as a flip out. I love it. I like the blue. I like the holes. I want to do similar to this flip out that I did here, but I haven't decided where I'm going to put it yet. So we'll put it there for now. Oh, got another one of these. And then back here, I put a dictionary definition for open-minded. And I thought that will be inspiring for me. Keep open-minded. All right, so that's good. I'm still loving this binder, if only because I can stand it upright off to the side over here. And I love that option now. I couldn't do that with my other binder. It had to either be in a bookcase or, you know, anyhow, this one can stand upright on its own. And I love that. All right, so let's get out the knife. Let the carnage begin. I'm always still a little nervous and a little excited all at the same time when you're going to cut open a new book. So the accomplished junk journalers, please forgive me if this is repetitious. I always am presuming, as I said before, that someone new is watching for the first time who's never cut open a book. I did try and play with this a bit yesterday. I wanted to see if I could lift the end papers so that I could save the whole end paper. And it's so thin and old. I get the feeling it wasn't terribly expensive paper. And it was going to start cutting right through here. So I'm not going to be able to do that. So I will be cutting that at some point. So what we do when we're going to cut out a text block is, I always start at the back because the front is easier, or the second one is easier. So that's why I start at the back and then do the front. So what you do is pull your back cover out of your way, keep your text block together in this way, and you will see right down here is where the text block, which is the bundle of pages, is attached, usually by gauze in older books. Let me show you. You can see it in there. There's gauze. Sometimes there are bands. This book has bands. It's just some cotton bands that are also in there. Just so that you know what to expect when you're running your knife through and you're wondering, what am I hitting? Sometimes if you hit a difficult part, it's because you've hit one of those little cotton bands. Now, don't open up your blade too big, because here's the risk you run when we're doing this, is it's hard. Sorry about the daylight coming from my window on this side of the room. You don't want to, when you're cutting here, you don't want this blade to go right through to the back and ruin your beautiful spine. So you want to just nip at it carefully with just the tip of your blade and start sort of holding it open and giving yourself room so you can see what you're doing. Take your time. There is just no rush to doing this. And see, I'm hitting something thick already. So I'm just taking my time. What is it I'm hitting in there? Just going to use some tweezers and feel around. No, you're okay. All right, you're okay. Just behave yourself and come on out. You're going to feel better when this is all done. There. So by keeping my finger in up here, I'm hopefully giving myself more room back there. Yeah, that was one of the cotton strips that was being a little bit persnickety. There you go. Now just keep going for as long as you're comfortable, and if go right to the bottom. Sometimes I find with some books that are really hanging on hard, I have to flip it over and approach it again, sort of from the top down. But this one now is going okay. Sometimes that gauze is just so nice and easy, and it's just really ready to let go. And sometimes they're not. There we go. So there's, and we did it without, we didn't cut through that spine, so that's lovely. This doesn't look too bad. There's part of our text block, so we're almost done. Let's flip it around. Now you'll see what I mean when I say this side's easier. You can literally keep the text block away, keep your book cover away, and then all you have is that little bit of gauze right there, and you can just run down. There's those cotton strips that I was telling you about that very old books will have, that just help to suspend the text block between the shoulders of the cover. Come on. That was that second cotton strip. Hanging on. Okay. Text block is free. And cover is free. Now, these are still here. And what I was hoping to do was to be able to put my text block in here and attach it under here, but I'm concerned I don't have enough room to glue on. And I'd rather have it turn out nice than to try too hard. I know that I can use this as a front page and still give it a lovely appearance. So I'm not too worried about that. Let's see if you want to come out, because you look like you're crumbling away to nothing. So you're going to need to be replaced. Sometimes this old paper that's in here has just turned into dust. I'm really looking forward to doing this book. I can do this part later. Let's take the text block. So that's something I'll be replacing. I'll be putting a new piece of just very light cardstock, almost heavy paper, just to go in and give that some reinforcement again. But this is in very nice shape. This book is 1929, so I'm happy with its condition for 1929. So I will put the block back into it for now, and I'll put it aside, and we will get into Lippincotts. This is that sewing manual, Clothing for Women, and I was able to find the owner. 1922 for this book, so they're both around the same time. I was able to locate Marie Bronson. And I wonder how it ended up. Like, she lived in Connecticut. And I'm wondering how on earth, you wonder the voyages that books take. Okay, I've got lots of room there for cutting through there. You wonder the voyages that it takes, how this book came to end up in Kawartha Lakes, Ontario, and traveling all the way from the University of Connecticut. So there, I just went through the cotton strap that was there, and I'm just using the tip here so that I can save that beautiful spine and put a new, I'll be putting in both of these hidden hollow back spines. Now this is quite tight. I thought it was going to be easy. It's quite tight. That gauze is hanging on for good measure, and I'm going to flip this over and go from the top down again. So let's go. There we go. Okay. Oh, no, you're still hanging on there. There's still some gauze that's hanging on. Okay, that's fine, gauze. Oh, that cotton strap is still, that top cotton strap, I didn't get through it. There. Okay. Good, we didn't cut through. All right, so here is the one that's easier. Because you can hold your text block out of the way and hold your cover out of the way, and you have a bit more room here to work with, to run your knife down. Oh, and there goes my alarm. I hit my 30-minute talking limit. All right, hold on. Thank you. Well, that's a good time. Good timing. Now I wonder if I have to flip you over. Nope, nope. Okay. There's our text block. Oh, that's an interesting color. I always wonder what you're going to excavate when you open up a book. That's an unusual color to have used. All that old. Actual book restorers will use a glue dissolvent. There's your, there's the head, the little tabs that go at the top and bottom. That's just coming apart. I often wonder, cheapers. They'll use a glue dissolvent and take all that glue off, and they'll give this spine, if they were going to restore this book, and they'll just give it a lovely new spine and then put it back into the book. They really do a nice job. But I want this to be a journal. It's no longer going to be a textbook. So that's cool. And let's see this. Oh, I've only got a minute, or else my phone's going to cut me off. Let's see if you want to come out. Yeah, you're just falling apart. But that's pretty easy. There's a little bit of wearing here. That's not bad at all. So that's going to be good. Yay! So we got that done. So these two books. Now I'm going to have to restore the inside of these spines and get them ready, and then start picking out papers for it. So thanks for joining me this morning, doing that little bit of work and putting a new tab on that little divider there in my own personal journal. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you're doing well, and we'll talk soon. Bye.